All right, welcome back.
Welcome back, everybody, to 91 News. This is our third episode. We are excited that you are joining us yet again. We've got some exciting things for today. Steve, you want to tell them about it?
Yeah, we've got, as you can see right here next to me, a new face. We got Danny Thomas with us here today, going to be a guest host.
What a lovely face it is, too.
Yeah. It's the mustache.
That's true. The mustaches are coming back, they say.
Apparently, in baseball.
Do you play
It
baseball?
looks like all kind of hair is coming back in baseball. But we're going to go through some things with Danny. We've got the core value discussion. We're going to talk about family today.
Yeah, that's going to be a new discussion that we're going to go in every single time and talk about a core value and what it means and define it and give a couple examples of it that we've noticed throughout the company. So be on the lookout for that in each and every episode. So that'll be fun.
And then go through some open positions that we've got to share with everybody out there. We're going to do some toolbox talks with T-Cuts.
Toolbox talks with T-Cuts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he gave that enough animation.
I did, yeah.
Throw it out there.
So, and then, unlike Miami, we're going to take a knee at the end of this thing, and we're going to let the clock run out.
Goodness. Scott told me about that, and he had a discussion with you yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
And a win's a win.
A win's a win. Even if it was Miami losing, Georgia Tech still won. So you gotta give them credit for that.
That is true. That is true. So I guess, we'll get started with our guest host, Danny Thomas. Welcome. He is also on our podcast crew, so he's doing a 2-for-1 today.
He's actually behind the camera, and he's here right now.
Yeah, don't ask how I did that.
Magic.
Crazy.
So I guess you want to go and tell everybody a little bit about yourself and, how long you've been at Martin and what you do, all encompassing at Martin, because there's a lot of different hats you wear.
Well, we have an hour, right? So I can talk about. No, I'm kidding. I've been with Martin for 5 years now, which has been a wonderful experience, a different experience, and I mean that in the best way. Definitely a different job that I've never experienced before, but I've learned a lot. I came on to do a specific job and have obviously grown with Martin, and Martin has been great about teaching me and helping me grow. And that's one thing I preach to everybody is if you don't know something, Martin's always there to help you out, and the people that work for Martin are always there to help you out. So it's been wonderful. But I do wear multiple hats. I do a lot of things that are kind of out of the ordinary, if you will, and I think a lot of us do, which has made it exciting and helped me grow in my life as well. But it's nice to be supportive and helpful to a company that way. So I always tell people I'm the support behind the scenes, right?
Hey.
I was going to say, you do about anything and everything here.
That's right. I'm kind of the yes man. I got to learn how to say no sometimes, but it's fun, so I don't mind saying yes.
It makes it, every day interesting.
That's right.
And nothing's ever the same.
No.
For sure. So why don't you tell us something personally with some interesting facts so we can get to know Danny.
Oh, goodness.
What do you like to do for fun?
Honestly, I am into cars and hot rods. I think a lot of people know that, but that's kind of fallen to the wayside as I have a little 5-year-old that's come along. And spending time with him is just the best thing ever. So that's really my passion. Music, as everyone knows, is a passion as well, and he's following in those footsteps.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, he's got his little drum set and learned how to play guitar, and he's been
cool.
singing at church, and so we're just excited to watch him grow. So that's really where it's at right now.
That's awesome. Guitar and the drums.
Yes, he's going to be very scary, talented.
Who gave him the first drum set?
I did. I got frustrated. It's a long story, but real quick, we sent him to music lessons, and I got frustrated with the teacher. They weren't going fast enough for him because he is very advanced, and instead of sending him back, I just went and bought a drum set for him, and he's actually been teaching himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. It's amazing to watch him.
See, I always did that to get back at my friends by buying their kid a drum set.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we were a little hesitant at first, but to see the smile on his face is always worth it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So does he help you when you write songs and stuff?
He's finally to the point. Yeah. He wants to do lyrics. He wants to do the beats to the songs. Yes. He's there finally.
That's so cool at such a young age.
I know. So we're excited.
So speaking of music, where can I download your latest single?
So that's great. So the single,
segue.
the single that me and Stephen Woods has written, it's called "Building It in Concrete." You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on Spotify, Pandora, any of those platforms. It's on about 30 different platforms, which is great. We threw it out there for everybody. You can go and listen to it. I usually go to YouTube just to see how many hits it's gotten. But it's not a great way to check things out because it's on so many platforms.
Just a gentle reminder.
That's right. Yeah. So Building It in Concrete, Stephen Woods and Danny T.
So why don't we go and give everybody, those that are listening that are new and maybe don't work at Martin Concrete, or those that are newly hired, why don't we give a little background of how that came about and you and Stephen creating the song and all of that?
Very exciting. Actually, where really it all started was at a leadership event. My guitar was brought to me, and people found out that I could sing and play guitar, especially Kristin over here. And then we found out that Stephen Woods could actually sing and play, and he had written some songs. So.
Is that because nobody believed he could sing, or?
No. We just, nobody was announcing it. So it was neat to listen to each other and collaborate. And the question was brought to us about making a song for leadership, for the company.
To inspire.
There's a lot of conversation around it as to why and what we wanted to do with it. I definitely wanted Stephen to be a part of that. I've heard some of his songs that he's written. So we collaborated, and I think it took us about a year to really finalize it. Showed you what it takes to put a lot of work and effort into a song, and something I love telling people that we wanted to do is make it for the workers, for the people in the field, for the people putting their hands on the building. We're all a part of it, of course, but we know what it takes to do it out there day in, day out, and just give that to them, something to give back to them. And I think people have really appreciated the lyrics that we put into it.
Yep.
And I think it's amazing.
Debuted it at Leadership about the last one we had, which was 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and the interesting thing to that is I can't keep my mouth shut, and to hold a secret like that between 6 people was
being
tough.
Threatened.
Oh my goodness, but it was exciting. We get on stage, no one knew what we were doing, and to get the standing ovation was just a blessing. Very excited to be able to give that to people, right? To give back to the people in a way that I probably couldn't in other ways. So
I will say, I didn't write it. I didn't have anything to do with it in that manner. But to witness y'all singing it and the standing ovation that it got on stage is seriously one of my top moments of my career. And I didn't even write it or perform it. So I can only imagine how that felt for you guys.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
It was amazing. It gave me chills then, and every time I've heard it, it's really, really good. You'll do a great job.
We appreciate hearing that, of course. We've heard it almost too many times, but the reason was for everyone else, right? Yeah. So it's good to get that feedback and to know that they enjoy it and they like it.
Yeah. So I guess the best thing to do right now would for us just to go ahead and share it with everybody. So without further ado, here is
Building It in Concrete by Stephen Woods and Danny T.
Is it what you have or what you leave behind? Is it your best day or the way you face the night? What they're gonna think of when someone brings your story up?
Did you wake up for work before the sunrise? Or was it late in the evening, deep into the night? When they ask you why you do this, you say the easy answer is,
I'm building it in concrete, I'm setting it in stone, I'm building a legacy for everyone in my home. I'm building it in concrete,
well, I'm building it strong. It'll stand as a memory long after I'm gone.
I'm building it in concrete.
One day I'll rest my head with the setting sun, think back on days and say, look what we've done. It's never been easy, but why would that matter to me?
I'm building it will be strong. I don't know what they'll say when I'm gone, but I know what I build will live on. I don't know what they'll say when I'm gone, but I know what I build will be strong. And I don't know what they'll say when I'm gone, but I know what I build will live on. I'm building it in concrete, I'm setting it in stone. I'm building a legacy for everyone I own. I'm building it in concrete, I'm building it strong. It'll stand as a memory long after I'm gone. I'm building it in concrete. Oh, I'm building it in concrete. Oh,
All right. I'm glad you shared that with us again. I love hearing that every time.
Thank
So,
you. No,
Y'all
I
are
appreciate
both
it.
super talented.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's so good. And it just really, it's such a segue into next topic that we're really going to get into, and that's making things happen. If y'all don't notice, we've got a whole different screen up here today, a whole different spot, and that's because, you know what? Sometimes you wake up in the morning in concrete and you got to call an audible. Concrete plant breaks down, pump breaks down, somebody doesn't show up, whatever it is, and you've got to figure out how to problem solve, and you've got to do it on the fly.
Yeah.
And so today we had some things come up, and we had to head up to Nashville.
But we also had this on our schedule.
Also
of
had this
shooting
on our schedule.
podcast. And we decided instead of just canceling it, we would make it happen.
Yep.
And so we are coming to you live from our Nashville office, newly
Live
renovated.
from Nashville.
Yes. So, yeah, I mean, lots of things happen in concrete. Things change, pours cancel, something constantly in this industry. You're having to pivot and turn and bob and weave. And so I think that's an important characteristic to have but just about any job, I could say, like inside of this industry, is learning how to be okay with that. And when plans change, you just kind of roll with it and make things happen and not, make excuses. Make things happen.
Our joke in the equipment department is just wait 5 minutes, it's going to change. And then you're going to have to adapt, right?
Yep.
And we do. I think that's something everybody does in this company, for sure.
It's like the weather at the beach.
Yeah.
Which speaking of that, that's one of the hardest places to pour concrete's along the coast because summertime,
Yes.
anywhere along the coast, 3 p.m. it's going to rain, 3:05 it's not going to rain, 3:10 you get a downpour. So
Chance of rain every day on the map.
So something that we do is something that we, it's what makes us different from manufacturing. It's what makes us different from a lot of other industries. And honestly, it's what keeps it exciting.
It is.
Is that we get a new challenge every day. We get to be able to problem solve every day.
Yeah.
And so
I would say that that's something I heard, I forget where, years ago, that the difference in concrete construction versus every other type of construction is that when you are, say, a plumber or an electrician or any of that, like when your day is done, your day is done. However, in concrete, we're the only ones that are crazy enough that the product that we deal with actually tells us when it's done. We don't get to leave until it tells us we're complete. So if it's the middle of winter and it takes 36 hours, then that's what happens. If it is summer and it's going to take 6, that's what happens. But, we don't really get to call the shots. We have to work with it and learn. So I think that teaches us how to really roll with the punches pretty quickly.
That's right. And have to make some pretty quick game time decisions.
Yeah.
Because that concrete's not getting any softer.
It does not wait. So, but I think at the same time, that's what's always drawn me to concrete construction is it's fun and it's different. And there's an adrenaline that goes along with it that you can't really find anywhere else. So.
And really, the only thing better than all of that And the exciting part of concrete is who we get to do it with, which
True.
brings us to our next point.
You are really good at these segues. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Our core value of family.
Yes, so Martin Concrete has 7 core values, and so each week we're going to talk about what each one of those means, just so that we're all on the same page and we know kind of the definition and, what we're hiring and firing and holding employees accountable to, and ourselves as a company, what we're looking for. So we wanted to kind of go through and talk to everybody each week on some of those core values. And this week, we started with the most, I'd say, famous one of all. This is the one that you hear over and over and over again. If employees don't remember one, I would say this and safety are the 2 that come out of their mouths the quickest.
That's right.
So honestly, family and what that really means at Martin Concrete is we foster a family atmosphere. And that's all of us just looking out for one another the same way you would your family at home. So when we say, Martin means family or family is our core value. That's what we're looking for, is for all employees to look out for one another the same way they would their brother, their sister, their husband, their wife, their children, that we're all a family and we expect to take care of each other like we would.
That's right.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I think of, we may have our disagreements, right? Just like a brother and sister probably do in our little fits and arguments, but we come back together and we collaborate and we work together still, and we're still family and love each other. So it's definitely a great way to explain and use as a core value for our company, for sure. And then it also goes back to what I was saying as far as people are always here to help us.
Yeah.
If you don't know something, we're not going to bash anybody about it. We're going to help and support and help you move along, move up the chain, right?
That's right.
We want everybody to be successful because that helps Martin Concrete be successful.
Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. So I know we've all probably experienced some different times that you saw that core value come out. You want to share some of those?
Who's first?
Anybody?
I'll share one that. So
I was about to take it. So good.
you're about to take. Okay.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm tired of talking.
So I got. I guess it was last December. I got involved in a pretty bad wreck. Actually, myself and my son. We were both involved in a wreck. Danny, I think you were the first person I called.
Yes, yes.
And you were the second person that I called, trying to figure out what to do.
Just for the record, he did that backwards, but he was in shock.
Yeah. I was in a little bit of shock.
It's okay.
At least it was still the right people, though.
Yeah, it was still the right people. That's the most important part.
So had a lot to walk through over the next really months and years, and it was something that immediately the entire Martin family surrounded me, from helping me get through every situation in that wreck, to calling and checking on me that same night, to taking me home the next day from work, and just every different thing that you can think of it. And it wasn't from a standpoint of we've got to do this as a company. It was coming from a standpoint of we care about you as a person, and we want to make sure that you're all right. And not just make sure that you're all right, make sure that your son is all right, make sure that my wife was all right. I mean, not even had people checking on my wife, and she wasn't even involved in the wreck. But everybody understands family enough here that they understand that what happened with me didn't just affect me, it affected my whole family. And the way that they've embraced my family through that and supported me through that, it's absolutely changed my life as far as how I think about work and where the lines, or what maybe used to be a line between work and family, starts getting blurred, because this is family. This isn't my blood family, but this is still family. So
Oh yeah,
it was a big deal for me.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
it was a really good story.
So thank you to everybody that did reach out. Here's my thank you a year late, probably.
And I think that's really what it goes back to, is you don't have to thank anybody for that, because that's what we're all here and we're supposed to do. And we don't even think twice about it, because everybody just jumps into action and we rally around each other when times get tough. And that's not just in like our office atmosphere or in bad situations like that. I've witnessed it out in the field years ago when COVID was going on, and I've told this story a couple times, but it was on Carlos Arcio's crew, And we had one of his employees actually come down with COVID, and he took care of his elderly mother. Well, he went to the hospital, and so he couldn't take care of her. That's not something that most of the time, honestly, I probably would have found out. Like, it gets a little too into it. I mean, 600 employees, it's hard to know when those situations are happening. But when I found out he was in the hospital and I started asking questions, he turned out to be just fine. But then I found out about his elderly mother, and I was like, well, is she okay? Who's taking care of her? And the crew, actually, for the past week that he'd been in the hospital, was going and checking on her, and their wives were, and they were taking her dinner every night and making sure that she was okay and making sure that she was fed and that she was taken care of while he was in the hospital without ever even being asked. And so when the employee got out, and woke up, he was obviously panicked of what about my mother, this, that, and the other. But the crew had been taking care of her the whole time, and she was absolutely fine, and everything was okay. But really just, rallying together and making sure that, when times get tough, we're there for each other. But I thought that was a really touching story to be able to see, and heartwarming that, that goes all through the company.
Yeah. So. And that's life-changing. That's not just, hey, this is a great place to work.
Right.
That's, hey, everybody's got my back here.
Yeah.
Well, plus, and the fact that the company understands there's people outside of who works here that you still affect, or your family that you have at home, and that we're there to support them as well.
Right.
Is a big thing. Also, there's companies I've worked for that just your number, right? And you don't matter as much to them, especially your family that are at home, because they don't work for us. Martin's not that way. We understand that if you're not happy at home, if you're having a hard time at home, how are you going to do your job at work? We're still here for everybody.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I think that's wraps up and well defines our core value of family for this week. And, our next podcast episode, we'll go through and we'll do the same thing each time. And, maybe before we go, we could kind of go into the story of where these core values came from. Danny, you were a part of that.
The core values?
Yeah, did you work here when we all came up with them?
No, I like that everybody thinks I've been here for 10 years, though.
Okay, that was not 10 years ago.
We're not saying
the
that you're...
fifth time now.
But it does feel like you've been here forever.
I appreciate that. That's a good thing.
You started when you were 14?
That's right. Kind of like some other people, right? No.
So really what happened is 1 year at leadership, many years ago. I don't even remember how many years ago. Marissa's not here. She's normally behind the camera, but I would ask her. We all came together and we wrote a bunch of core values in the whole group. Of course, the group was not 100 people like it is now, but it was a good bit of us, and we wrote a bunch of words down, and then we all honestly voted on what we wanted the core values of the company to be. And that was one of our leadership segments. And so collectively, I think it was probably 60, 65 people in the room, we decided together and through a discussion that these were our core values. So it wasn't something that, the senior leadership team came and said, hey, this is what we think we stand for. No, like we collectively as a company came up with these together to, make sure that we were all living by. And I think that's really cool. That's not how most companies do it, but I wouldn't change that for anything. I think that's very unique. And kind of it's a part of the Martin experience and our mission, and making sure everybody has a voice and is heard. So
yeah, I mean,
that's really where they all came.
And
that's why we have 7, because the vote couldn't go any lower, and there was a lot of people in that room.
And that's probably why I would have to guess that's a big reason why there's so much buy-in.
Yeah,
it's not being dictated. This is what the people that work here at Martin want. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a big part of why it's so widely accepted and so deep in the roots of our culture. So
yeah,
it's good.
It's a very cool story. So, but yeah, next week we will pick another one and we will go through the definition and a couple of stories to go along with that.
So, if you want to know how to become part of the Martin family, we've got a couple open positions.
So I'm the king of the segue.
Emmanuel, you want to go through what we got open right now?
So some of the open positions that are available right now, so you can join the Martin family, is CDL driver for Martin Heavy.
And you do have to have a driver's license for that one, right?
Yeah.
CDL.
CDL license. We will check.
And you have to pass a drug test for all these positions, but especially CDL.
Yeah. Next position that is open is a crane operator for full tilt. They're looking for, was it 1 or 2 more crane operators?
We're always looking,
Yeah,
right?
we're always looking.
Always open.
So that's one. Another one would be the QA/QC technician. We're starting to grow that division, so trying to make it better. Another position is a mechanic.
Yes.
At the maintenance center, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So-
Always looking for a good mechanic as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Diesel mechanic, any?
Pretty much any at this point. I mean, there's so many things to being a mechanic now,
Yeah.
from electrical sensors down to the actual hard parts. It's a wide variety. So we're always just looking open door, right? We'll do the interview.
So if you can spell it, Danny will interview.
Yeah.
And that's going to be out of the maintenance center, correct?
Correct.
Lithia Springs.
Yes.
So.
Mhm.
Another position that's open is a senior project manager for Kennesaw.
Kennesaw, that's right.
Okay.
Out of the Kennesaw area, working throughout the southeast.
Okay.
Yep.
Another one is project executive for both Kennesaw and Nashville.
And that'd be 2 separate positions for that one.
Mm-hmm. Estimators, is it Kennesaw office?
Yes, Kennesaw office, looking for concrete estimators.
And then field layout engineer, superintendents, both, I guess, in the southeast, correct?
Mhm.
Yep,
And then the last one is project managers
Yep.
for.
Also, just throughout the southeast.
throughout the
Southeast.
southeast.
That's right.
Either office. So yes, if you qualify and want to join the Martin family for any of those positions, you can go to hr@martinconcrete.com and apply. Send us your resume through that.
I got a question. What if you already work for the Martin family?
If you already work for the Martin family, that has actually been happening a lot recently. If you were already here and any of these intrigue you and you want to apply for them, same thing. You can just email your resume to hr@martinconcrete.com and let us know which position that you would like to interview for, and we love to promote within. So
That's right.
absolutely, feel free. Do not let that stop you,
Good.
or just stop Michelle or I and let us know that you want to interview and send us your resume. Good
That's right.
question, Danny.
Yeah.
Well, I might want to do something else with all these hats I have.
Well, as long as you keep this
kidding.
podcast going and leadership, we'll talk to Scott together. All right. Well, next, this is going to be the fun one. I guess we'll go and we'll get Tanner,
Yep.
and we will do Toolbox Talks with T. Cuts this week since we are in Nashville and get to know him a little bit better. I know everybody's excited. He is really excited. And we'll be right back.
Be right back.
All right, so welcome back. Glad you came to join us. We have a new person joining us over here. I don't know if I should call you Tanner or T. Cuts.
Whatever
What do you
your heart
prefer?
prefers.
What do you prefer?
Well, I've been called a lot worse than either one of those, so I'll go with either one.
I won't do that to you, I promise. I promise. Maybe not in
appreciate
front
that.
of you, behind your back, but that's it. I'm kidding.
So, with us having to bob and weave, we originally were going to have, just like everybody wanted, Keith Easton. He agreed to do our Toolbox Talks, and he is still scheduled for our next episode, and we are ready to go. But now that we're in Nashville, we decided that we were going to do a Toolbox Talk with T. Cuts, because that just makes sense, and it goes really well together, by the way.
Look at that smile.
Yeah. So now that you've informed us that you have never watched one of our podcasts and you're going to catch up on the way home,
That one bit me.
how this goes is we go through and we've collected a bunch of questions, personally or professionally, from all of your peers and your coworkers that people want to know. And we're going to ask you, and then you give us the answers, and we get to know Tanner better.
Sounds easy enough.
Yeah.
But I got a different question first. Have you ever listened to a podcast before?
I have listened to a podcast.
What's your favorite podcast?
I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy.
Dave Ramsey?
Yeah.
Not 91 News?
No.
He's never listened to it before.
So
One day.
one day.
One day it'll
We'll
change.
get
Today.
I bet you'll
Today.
listen to
Today's
this
the
one
day.
since you're on
Oh,
it.
I guarantee you I will.
What's your wife gonna think when you get home today and like
She's
I'm
gonna be
now
so
an internet
excited.
star?
Yeah, she's going to be shocked. She's definitely going to watch and critique and point out all my flaws. So
You're gonna be trending on MySpace this afternoon.
She's married to a podcast star now.
I know. Lucky her.
Lucky. So typically we pull these questions out of a toolbox, but we don't have one. So we're just going to read them today. So just bear with us, and we'll just go around the table. So who wants to go first?
Can we ask our own that we have on here?
Sure.
Okay, I got one for you there, Tanner. So I was wondering, what was it like being friends with John Martin in college?
Wow.
Because we all work with him.
Were
Oh,
y'all
yeah.
friends?
Most days.
That's a great
Most
question,
days.
actually.
It depends how far along I had to drag him through class. But no, it was good. It was good. We had a good relationship. We spent way too much time together because he made me schedule every single class that he was in. So we were together from sun up to sundown. But yeah, no, it was good. I was glad to meet him walking out of mechanics and materials class, and he was freaking out right before the final, trying to find somebody to study with. And of course, I was, doing the same thing pretty much. So it ended up working out pretty well. But no, we had a lot of good times.
Good.
A lot of good study sessions, a lot of good post-study sessions, and I'll just leave it at that.
Who was the better student?
Oh, me, for sure.
For sure, yeah. I guessed. I just needed to ask for confirmation's sake. All right. So I'll go next. Tanner, I have a question for you. What is your favorite memory working at Martin Concrete?
What is my favorite memory working at Martin Concrete? There's been a lot. There's been a lot in the last 6 years. I'm going to really think on this one.
Well, we've only got so much time.
Yeah.
All right.
Or is this my way of stalling to get
Right. You're waiting for the battery to run out, aren't you?
This isn't multiple choice.
I would have to say, probably the first leadership.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because I'm here?
No.
Suck.
That was like nothing I'd ever been, a part of before. So
Which one was your first one?
it was the one at Whitecap headquarters.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where we did the cakes
Yes.
and the measurements
Yep.
and all that.
The Dr. Creek cakes.
Yep.
Yep.
That was my first one, too.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
That was probably one of the games that I'm the most proud of. So that was just all. from
Everybody's
here.
remembered them because they always get brought up again. Like, we've done that before.
I know.
The sandbox one.
Yeah, I've recreated it in different ways. We did it with gingerbread houses and safety. We've done it lots of different ways. But that was one of my favorite ones, too.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
That's
Even though I
good.
didn't go home with any door prizes, it was still a good one.
I've never won any. Can
Yeah,
you believe
neither
that?
have I.
We don't do participation prizes or ribbons.
Steve, you got a question over there?
I do. So, this one's from Katie. She wants to know, with hair like yours, why didn't you go into broadcasting? And then as a follow-up, what's your daily hair routine?
Daily hair routine. Well, I guess let me take them in order. Didn't go into broadcasting because I'm a numbers nerd, so I went into engineering.
Meteorologist? 70% of the time?
Probably should have done that. Just have an opinion and throw something at the wall, see if it sticks. But hair routine, get up, get a shower, comb it over. That's it.
So
Nothing
this is
to
where
it.
he tells us it's just natural.
Just
All
natural. So from what I'm hearing, if I could read that back to you, you're going to comb it over all the way through life.
All the way through life.
Even when there's not much left. Just stick
Even
with
when
that
there's
comb
nothing
over.
left. I got my permanent 5-finger combs attached, and that's all I need.
You're
Good question,
You're
Katie.
very lucky, by the way.
I've been told that a time
Yeah.
or two.
Emmanuel, you got a question?
Yeah.
You got a mic?
No.
Oh. threw him for a
So
loop.
this is from Burke. What is your ultimate game day setup at an Alabama game?
ultimate game day setup has to be tailgate on the quad. Y'all probably don't know what the quad is.
No.
Yeah,
Well,
Bert
we're
knows
totally
what I'm
fine with
talking
that,
about. Yeah. Tailgate on the quad.
Is that where you go streaking to?
That's where you go streaking after the game.
Oh, after.
Not
Okay.
before.
Okay.
But after, yes.
How do you feel about Alabama football this year?
You know, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. I'm thinking they're going to turn it around. Of course, we've only had one loss. That was a fluke. But I think we're going to be in it in the championship, SEC championship against Georgia. And
You see
I'm
how
feeling
I just
good.
mumbled that?
Yeah.
Feeling good about it.
All right, we're going to rewind this back in about 6 months,
Yeah.
and we'll see.
Come on. I'll be here.
Then we'll be talking about Alabama, volleyball or
Basketball,
badminton,
badminton, swimming,
Pickleball.
pickleball,
pickleball.
pickleball. The newest rage.
I just played my first game the other day.
As did I.
With Emmanuel. It was and Corey.
So who won?
It wasn't me. It was Emmanuel actually.
You won?
He did.
You didn't let Corey win?
No. Oh,
good
he
for
was
you.
bad. Corey's super competitive too.
Yeah, I didn't let him win in ping
But
pong
in
last time
Corey's
I played
defense,
him
I
either.
was on his team, and it was more my fault, and it was my first time.
So y'all are playing 2-on-1? Y'all two verse Corey, or do you have a partner?
This is where it gets worse.
I thought we were
It
asking
was
Tanner
Corey and
questions.
myself against Lan and Emmanuel. Sorry, Corey.
Here's a work question for you. What's one thing that you've learned over the years on some of the larger manufacturing jobs that you could pass along to someone else?
One thing I've learned over the last couple of years on large manufacturing jobs. I think probably one of the biggest things I've learned is getting the GCs out of the job site trailers and into the field to see more of what's going on. I had a lot of struggles with that on one of my first large manufacturing jobs where the schedule was really dictating everything, but there was a lot going on outside that was preventing us from doing what we needed to do that just wasn't seen by everybody.
And you mean that respectfully too, right?
Of course,
Right.
yeah, of course, respectfully.
Everybody needs to get out and see what's going on, boots on the ground, right?
Yeah, I mean, because that's where it's taking, that's where the work's taking place.
Exactly.
That's where you see, where a delay comes in or which puzzle piece needs to get put into place next.
Right.
So that and just, being diligent about schedules. And our look-ahead schedules have to be accurate because that's what the GCs are counting on in order to build their schedules, and they're relying on us to provide that accurate information. So those two things probably my biggest takeaways.
Gotcha.
Good. Well, Tanner, we want to thank you. I promised you it wouldn't be that bad.
That was easy.
Was it? There you go. See?
Pretty easy.
Well, thank you for joining us for our Toolbox Talks with T-Cuts. I think we should
T-Cuts.
keep that name.
I like it. Thanks for having me. Been
Absolutely.
a blast.
Now you'll
that
have to
I'm a
listen to it.
Professional podcaster.
Tell your whole family. Get them to listen too. And but yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. And
Yeah.
Steve, you want to send us off?
Yeah, just thank everybody again for listening to us. Want to thank Tanner for coming. Want to thank Danny for being on. Want to thank Emmanuel for leading the conversation today. But again, thank y'all for listening. This is to be able to get information out to everybody and be able to share a little inside information what's going on at Martin Concrete. And so we appreciate y'all watching, listening, however you do it, whether it's Spotify, whether it's YouTube. And remember, you can always leave questions and you can leave comments at the bottom. So.
Yep. Or email them to hr@martinconcrete.com with any questions or topics you want to hear us talk about next time.
And if there's questions that we didn't ask Tanner that you really just want to ask,
We can come back.
we can come back to it. He is married, so can't ask that question.
You know where I'll be.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Bye.